Undertale and music go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. The only difference being that I like Undertale music. I'm probably gonna die for saying I don't like peanut butter and jelly now. Toby Fox is hands down one of the best composers of the 21st century, and his game Undertale has garnered quite the number of fans. So of course people would want to export the ideas and interpretations of said Undertale to different forms of media. Animations, memes, and most importantly today, other video games. Now I should warn you, there is a barrier of entry for today's video. It's that you gotta like FNF music. I know, before you click off, there's still a ton of Undertale merit here. When you're that much of a snob and can't read the same era as FNF, go ahead and click off, loser. For the willing and tolerant, or FNF fans alike, thanks for sticking around, because Friday Night Dustin has one of the best Undertale songs I've ever heard. You Are. This is just me explaining the background context for the song, and even the mod as a whole. If you're familiar with this, you can just skip this chapter or the timestamp posted on the screen. Now then, let's get to it, shall we? Friday Night Dustin is a Friday Night Funkin' mod about the Undertale alternate universe Dusttale. Now, I'm not too well versed in Undertale AUs, but I can try to give the most basic rundown that I can. Basically, the player, from Dusttale, continues to reset doing countless genocides over and over again. Eventually, Sans remembers these genocides, you have got to be kidding me, and realizes there is only one way to stop us, by killing everyone else first. One by one, he kills everyone in an attempt to gain level and beat the human at their own game. In this universe, I guess that worked out for Sans. But just like the intro card says, this is not the end of our tale. Enter FNF. Hopefully if you're watching this video, you should know the basics of the FNF's lore, or story, or whatever you want to call it. If you somehow don't, here's a basic rundown. You play as boyfriend, you're trying to get with girlfriend, people stop you, so you rap. There, simple. Week 3 in particular is against Pico from Newgrounds Games Pico School. Normally, you rap until a good time. In this universe though, he just decides to go full on dust with us. He pulls out his hood, kills a distracted girlfriend, then boyfriend flees to Mount Ebit, and has no choice but to fall down to avoid Pico. And that's the start of the mod. The actual mod itself, it has story. Don't worry, we can speedrun it real quick. Since the player was supposedly killed or just somehow unable to return to the underground, it possesses BF, causing him to be totally emo and missing his girlfriend. He meets Dust Sans, they sing, runs towards Papyrus. Papyrus is still, well, Papyrus, but he still dies to Sans before BF can kill him. But this causes Ghost Papyrus to haunt Sans, since feeling immense guilt for having to kill Papyrus. You reach Waterfall, where Undyne is still Undyne, even goes undying mid-song, it's just so cool on first playthrough, but ultimately still dies to the player. You also encounter Ghost Paps in the song. Then you reach Hotland, where Sans has a heart-to-heart with BF, not the player, BF. But the player pulls a devious stealthy move and proceeds with the route anyway. In the middle of Heatwave, Mettaton Neo just kind of pops into existence. Totally steals that song. I like it a lot, especially that Death by Glamour motif. Then you get to the True Lab and see something truly horrifying. Sans actually activating the Determination Extractor. We've never really seen it in official capacity, and I'm not too sure of how many fanworks actually utilize this machine, so seeing it work in Friday Night Dustin was actually pretty cool. Evolution is also just one of my favorite songs from this mod. Perhaps even does a cool FNF lyrics section, but it's actually done well. You'd question technically Sans' motives and is really talking to him, but I feel like personally it could be totally interpreted as him talking to us. I also feel like I might reference this later, so keep this in mind. Broken Reality is just a super climactic song, complete with ghost pap section, cinematics, and a super annoying scroll mechanic. Why did you make that? And here's where things get important. I know, I said skip here if you knew everything, but this is really required context, so you're gonna shut up and listen to me anyway. In Broken Reality, there's a mechanic where if you press space or attempt not to attack Sans, Sans of course dodges it, but what's important is the choice to. If you go ahead and attack Sans throughout the song, you get the genocide ending complete with the Unrising song. That song is legit a banger and I highly recommend to listening to it regardless of this video. Absolute peak, zero, you cooked. But the most important part of all this is the choice back in Broken Reality. In the story so far, the player has been the one controlling BF, making him do proceeding, attacking Undyne, and killing Flowey. I mean, Flowey appears in for like a single cutscene and dies. I really don't like that cutscene, but that's not important right now. BF has had no choice but to follow along, and even slightly wants to, thanks to his grief for a girlfriend, Silly Billy style. The player is the one making all the choices. Back in Hotland, Sans offers boyfriend a choice to give up the soul so he can do a true reset. A choice. But that choice gets revoked from boyfriend because of the player. Even as you play the Dustin mod, you don't really feel like an acting force, you're just kind of a spectator. You don't get to do anything, you just get to play as boyfriend and go through the story beats. But in Broken Reality, you finally have a choice. One small little choice. To not attack. You don't have to play Uprising, you don't have to reach the genocide ending. You have a choice now. Fight back by not fighting. In Friday Night Dustin, it rewards you. A cutscene plays, a new one. Sans asks, why didn't you attack him? And before anything else can happen though, you enter the soul, enter BF. It's not really clear, but it's meant to be like an interpersonal realm. Inside, someone is waiting. You, but more accurately, the player. A new dialogue choice appears. Give Sans your soul, give you the soul. And when BF tries giving it to Sans, the player breaks the dialogue box and takes things into their own hands. This is it. The culmination of your choice, your pushback, your determination to see things through differently. And now, you made them mad. Real mad. You just don't get it, do you? What we've started, it can't be stopped. So stop pretending to be the puppet master. Cause I'm not the puppet. You are. And that was just the intro to the song. But it sets the tone immediately. Normally, the player in Undertale, normally you, the viewer, is just a curious player. Wants to see how things play out. What happens if you do A, B, C, whatever. You have choice, and you can do whatever you want in this little world. So imagine doing what you wanted, when you wanted, in this little world of playing God. And the person you were controlling fought back. Said, no, I don't want to do this anymore. It almost took away your control. Pretty scary, right? Well, that's how the Dustin player feels. They don't know you, the viewer / FNF player, is actually there, but they do know boyfriend is revolting, acting up, trying to gain freedom. And they don't like that. We don't get it. What the Dustin player started, multiple genocide runs over and over again, this little cycle they created, it can't be stopped. In our little fit of control of not attacking Sans, us trying to be the puppet master, like we're the ones in control, since we're you the one in control, because I'm not the puppet, you are. This isn't just a song, this is a fight, a struggle for freedom, the sheer power of determination. Not the players, not boyfriends, although he is helping. Ours. A Friday Night Dustin player. Our determination is fighting the determination of another player. It's some of the most compelling stuff I've seen out of this community. At least in my opinion. I haven't seen too much in this community outside of like Underverts and random fan games. I'm really sorry. And that was just the beginning cutscene. That alone told me just how different UR was going to be. And the music? The only way I can identify this motif as the reunited motif although I'm sure it could totally be the finale motif or your best friend motif. But I haven't really been able to identify it too well. And there's definitely probably a few more in there I could probably hear and recognize, but I can't name it properly. And there's probably definitely a few I still missed, so if you know any, comment down below. There's even a freedom motif, just a little snippet from the player when he sings it, but it's there. And I really emphasize just how much of a struggle this is between boyfriend and the player for choice, for freedom. It's also pretty good foreshadowing for later in the song. Then a once upon a time motif, followed by your best friend? I may be able to not identify them, but I feel confident in those names. And I really think the once upon a time motif represents Undertale, the underground, the world you're fighting for control of. Or in this case, to simply leave be. The best friend motif is a little harder to decipher, but it could be more likely the finale motif more than anything. Because that's what the song is, an ending. Not pacifist, because the player has already destroyed this world and the timeline already, but a ending. A better one than the cycle the player wants to keep going down. The song just does its own thing for the rest of the section, but I really want to highlight the tone of the instrumental, and especially the vocals. Very finale-esque. It feels like you're fighting for something worth breaking a cycle that isn't yours to break, for freedom that isn't given to you. I should also mention the background is the vessel creation background from Deltarune. It's here, and considering the very vessel-like design of the player, I believe it's to show that we're not in the underground, but rather in some communication space between the player and whatever the vessel an Undertale player controls, like Boyfriend for example. Or Chris is another, but I'm pretty sure I already talked about this, so. But the biggest detail I love? Boyfriend isn't shown. It's assumed we're seeing it from his POV, and that makes sense, but there's no evidence technically supporting or denying that. So I like to interpret differently, that it's us singing against the player, the ones fighting for control. A player versus a player, which is such a compelling concept, and one reason I absolutely love this song. The next part of the song is Papyrus. This is the one I've had easily the hardest time to interpret. It's also, in my opinion, the weakest part of the song, but you didn't hear that from me. So the very notable detail I noticed is that we sing at the player for this part. So I think us as the FNF player shifts back to more of the observer role as we've been throughout the mod so far. I find it very interesting that Papyrus has the lost eyes from the Azrael fight when you're trying to save everyone. The best I can interpret this part is just a reminder of Papyrus's meaning in genocide as a whole. That you really don't care about what you're doing. That you killed the most innocent soul alive, who trusted you to the bitter end. Just a reminder of how much a monster you are. When in this case, we're not the monster. The Dustin player is, especially with those repeated genocide runs, which is probably why the song shifts into Ghost Papyrus. We shift to a Vessel boyfriend, imagine his BF from before, but now we're looking at through a different lens, and that BF is just a vessel being controlled by the player. He had no choice and even feels the guilt for killing someone by Papyrus. The grayscale coloring is supposed to remind us at that point of the story, BF was just another vessel and had no will, leaving the player in total control. Think of it as a Chris and Soul relationship in the weird route. That's the only real way I can describe it. I want to take a brief moment to acknowledge this mod's beautiful visuals, stellar work from the mod devs. But back to the main show. The next section shifts right back to the player who sings the Once Upon a Time motif again. Although I'm pretty sure by now it might be Finale, but it's really hard to tell since Toby Fox likes to mix motifs in many songs, just like how Hopes and Dreams has the his motif, but you know, super epic and emotional. But for this, I'm just gonna call it the Finale motif. If you want to correct me, comment down below and I'll acknowledge it. The song does its own thing, with some beautiful vocals I might add. The important detail this time around is the background. Monster souls rising up. What does this mean? I think it's supposed to represent a type of resistance, an uprising, if you will.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
The souls the player has taken, the monsters of the underground, it represents the sins they committed every time they did a genocide run. While the souls can't do anything to the player like the human souls, nor are they probably conscious in this moment, I think it's more meant to be an interpretation for us, that we're making a difference. Our fighting back is working. Just like how in Finale, when the 6 human souls resist Flowey and helps you out instead. While the souls are definitely not doing that here, it still feels that way. Like you are on the right side of all of this, trying to end the cycle. And that, hopefully, you have the support of all the monsters. Then a key change of all things. The instrumental picks up pace and things start to feel a bit more energetic. Then a scene change. And this moment right here, that's what got me. I almost shed a tear, no joke. I don't get emotional with the media I consume. I love it, but I don't really show it. I feel. But this actually kind of got me, I'm not gonna lie. The golden flowers, the golden backgrounds. Heck, it's the reason I'm literally making this video. The meaning of it hit me in the gut. Seeing a human-looking Kara Frisk character standing in a golden field. It's really powerful for the story of Undertale, as in Kara and Azrael, not the meta level. If you know anything about the lore, it really is that significant. And the design of it, I just love it. The hair, the flower in hand, it's just absolutely beautiful. I didn't cry when I played through Undertale, but I know that New Home was a major reason a lot of fans started bawling their eyes out, because the story of Undertale, Kara and Azrael, is pretty powerful. A tragic story of friendship, of trying to find a place to belong in a world that you hate, from Kara's perspective at least. And it's really sad that Azrael died trying to bury his sibling in the overworld. And what do you fall on when you enter the underground? A flower bed of golden flowers. Heck, golden flowers are Kara's favorite type of flower. Also, the art in this section is genuinely beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the design, but I love the background art from Mount Evet as well. Then we shift to Waterfall, then Hotland, and end this little moment in the lab. But notice the freedom motif returning, and how the player is the one singing it. He has the freedom here, and Boyfriend seems to have completed freedom motif since he's the one fighting for it. Or rather, we're helping him fight for his freedom, for a new outcome. Then we slow down. I'm not sure there's a finale motif here, it's a bit hard to tell, but I swear there is a motif here. I just really cannot name these things, I'm super sorry. But but I love the end postcard from the endings of Undertale. Everyone's scratched out, like when you do a genocide or a pacifist run after resetting a genocide world. And I like the feel that despite your attempts, your determination just isn't enough. It's not getting to this world of Undertale, that the player almost has regained control over the soul again. Almost. And that concludes the player versus boyfriend / us part of the song, because the judgment bells are ringing. There you are. I've been looking for you. I know you've been having fun, but it ends now. Bring it. The player dodges a Gaster Blaster, but in the process loses their control over the soul again. Megalovania plays, and we see Dust Sans once again. Since the start of the Dusting story, Sans has been going up against Boyfriend, having no idea the player was still there, just puppeteering instead of being directly present in the world. I love the little detail of the player drooping his head like, "You again." The player picks their knife back up, determined to end this, to reclaim their soul back. Sans takes off his hoodie. I'm really interpreting this as Sans finally having hope again, to reset things and finally do things right in this world. Even if he has to come back and fight the player again and again. For now, he doesn't have to be Sans, the skeleton who lost it all. He's just Sans, the lazy judge who finally has a way to punish this criminal. I also absolutely love this more epic rendition of Megalovania, because I've been seeing this idea of Megalo being the theme of "you screwed up" in the Undertale and Deltarune community. My main example being this Megalovania remix for supposedly the weird route of Deltarune. Though at the time of that upload, chapters 1 and 2 were only out, because now, spoilers for Deltarune, with 3 and 4 out, Chris is very much not on our side at all, leading to this cool concept of Susie being the judge of your actions. I know we're kinda getting off topic. In short, I like the theme of Megalovania being the theme of judging your sins committed against the underground, or whatever you're doing. The player? They don't care, they just point the knife with the same determination they've always had. I actually believe the song that might play when you fight Sans motif is what Sans sings at the beginning. And of course Megalovania's motif is here, as it's been all around this mod. What I find cool is that the finale motif is played again, but for a snippet by the player, really honing in that this is the final confrontation for the player and Sans. This is what everything you've been leading up to, at least in this ending of the mod. Your choice, or determination to help Boyfriend fight back, it's thrown the player off guard, off course, leaving an opening for Sans to reset everything. The singing goes on as normal and the song ends. There's 2 details I still want to cover. A. Sans has the red soul behind him. The Gaster Blaster really did throw off the player, giving Sans a chance to reclaim it for himself rather than the player taking it back. 2. That save file sound effect at the end of the song. It's the last sound you hear as the song ends, and it really does signify victory. Sans won. You won. You fought back with the little control you had. You changed the course of this horrible, horrible story. You won. Sans has the soul. He talks to us, but it's more meant for the player than anyone else. After all, no one even knows we truly exist. The player lost for once, which is funny, Because in all these fan games Undertale fans have made, no matter the premise, no matter how wrong the player in that time is, they still win because we're the ones playing. Despite the difficulty of said fan games, you can still come out on top. You can still be determined enough to beat the odds. But here, the player lost. But personally, we had more determination. We helped out Boyfriend. And through that, Boyfriend was able to rebel. So Sans starts to restart. Says he'll remember everything and learn from his mistakes to finally defeat the player and ensure they won't ever come back. So the story ends. Sans true resets the timeline. Boyfriend is sent back to the beginning cutscene. He talks things out with Pico, and that trio gets a happy ending. Sans, he's still stuck in a loop, fighting the player over and over again. Sadly, there's nothing we can do about that. The story just ends there. So why is this song such a big deal that I'm making it out to be? Firstly, I want to thank this comment for mainly inspiring this video and my interpretations as a whole. I don't fully agree with it, but it was a major influence and I really do like the concepts that they provided. Secondly, the song just provides a really cool concept. What would happen if two players had to share an Undertale world? I know there are those multiplayer Undertale videos where people try to do a pacifist and genocide route at the same time, but I feel like that doesn't really do the concept justice. I mean, what would happen if two players who weren't aware of each other at first, but noticed the effects of each other's influence? Could one player start off as usual, doing multiple runs, pacifist or genocide, and suddenly one reset, another player just enters their world? I feel like there are many ways to explore this concept, and UR gets the credit of presenting this idea. Unless another fanworks has done this, in that case, please tell me below. That'd be super helpful. Thirdly, I feel very strongly that the song suits Undertale very well. What do I mean by this? Simple. Fighting for control with determination. Heck, the idea is very similar to what Deltarune is currently trying to do, although the difference is that the soul and Chris need each other, and Chris's determination couldn't ever compare to ours. The song also feels very finale-ish. It's not pacifist route, but it is rebellion against a higher power, like Omega Flowey. But now, it's against a player. It works very in line with Undertale personally. I like the part with the monster souls rising, as it feels very much like it's reminding you of Finale even more, with the feeling of being supported by the monsters of the underground, even if that isn't what's actually happening. Feel is key, and I feel like this song nails that perfectly. The golden flower section still gets me. I don't cry, but if there's any part of Undertale I would cry, it would definitely be the New Home section, where you're told the Undertale story of Kara and Asriel. That story just really hits you in the feels, so seeing that human character stand in the golden flowers, with flower in hand and hair, with just a gorgeous Mount Ebott once upon a time background and color scheme, it just gets me every time. And that entire section in general, going between different Undertale locations with the freedom motif, sounds and looks beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous art. And the Sans part really does feel like retribution, like judgment and justice wrapped into one. But it also paints our actions very well. Not us in Dustin, but the actions we commit in every genocide route, every Snowgrave file, or even outside Undertale and Deltarune. Every time you commit something bad in a game intentionally just to see what would happen, you become like this player. You might even become worse than this player. This one loves to repeatedly do genocide runs. So maybe not this time, but you deserve this judgment, this punishment. You deserve to be fought back against, like a villain, because you are. But for now, or if you aren't one of those people, you're good, a kind soul, someone who refuses to stoop down to others' levels because you were curious. You denied yourself and enjoyed what the game wanted you to enjoy. You loved on the game and it loved on you back. Instead of a villain, you were normal, or sane if you did pacifist. That's who you are. Our choices define who we are. So here comes the real question. You are what? A villain? A hero? Someone who got curious to what would happen? How many crimes have you committed in the game world to get what you wanted? Or what have you done to deny yourself to respect and treat a world like it matters? Who do you think you are? The fact I wrote this script, voiced myself, and edited this video, hopefully, really shows how powerful and how well made this One Friday Night Funkin' Undertale alternate universe song really is. But maybe it doesn't matter what you've done or what you will do, because despite everything, it's still you. And that's who you are. Hey, this is Unscripted. I just wanted to say thanks if I ever managed to edit and get this video out on time for tomorrow, the 15th. I really wanted to get this out for Undertale's 10th anniversary, but I have no idea if that's going to happen or not with my time schedule. I'm pretty busy with school, and I just don't have too much free time. And I just wanted to say thanks if you made it all the way to the end of this. If you were kind enough to deal with my horrible voice acting, really, and maybe my crappy editing. But if you stuck around, thanks. Really appreciate it. I don't know if I'm ever going to do YouTube or not, so I wouldn't say subscribe. But if you really liked it, go ahead and like and comment, I guess. If you comment, I'll try to read it if I can. But I'll be busy, so catch you on the flip side. See you.